Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Brandon Alter, and this is your Numinous Tarot forecast for the week of March 7th, 2019. So, I don't know if you've been feeling it, but these past few days, lots of astrology, lots of big shifts happening. Did you feel that Sun-Neptune conjunction? Did you do a ritual for the new moon in Pisces? It's not too late, you can still do a ritual now. Yesterday there was also another really big shift, but I didn't even talk about it last week because I didn't want to overwhelm you. And we also have 8 years to process this transit because Uranus yesterday moved into Taurus. Now you might recall last year Uranus moved into Taurus, but just for a few months because then it retrograded all the way back into Aries. Now it's moving into Taurus and it's not going to leave Taurus for 8 years. And that's very significant. So Uranus and Taurus, let's just try to break that down. So who's Uranus? Uranus is the planet of creativity, chaos, and change. Consider that Uranus is the only planet that has an orbit on its side, right? It's spinning on its side and every other planet's up and down. And so when we think about Uranus, we're thinking about putting things on its side, putting things on its head, looking at things in a new way. In Taurus, well, what is Taurus? Taurus is physical structures. Taurus is the earth. Taurus is the house of value. What are our values? So these next 8 years are going to be a lot of creativity and rebuilding and restructuring in terms of our physical structures, like banks, government, school, healthcare. You know, the next 8 years are going to bring a lot of change in these very major ways. And they're also going to challenge us to look at what do we value, right? Because our values are what we build the structures on top of. So Uranus and Taurus, a lot of interesting energy there. I also think that Uranus and Taurus brings new innovation in terms of creativity as well. The last time Uranus was in Taurus, during that 8-year period, we got color film for the very first time. So that's very interesting, like from black and white to color. So what are we going to get, you know, in these next 8 years? And I also think of Taurus as the sign of the earth too, right? The bull. So I think Uranus and Taurus is also going to be about reevaluating and renegotiating our relationship with this planet that we call home. And also maybe some crisis around that. I can't help but think, you know, with climate change and the way it's continuing to progress and move at an even faster rate than some of us want to admit, Uranus and Taurus is going to be our opportunity to get creative about how we repartner with the Earth and what are the structures we need to build in order to be in right relationship with this planet that we call home so that the human race can be here for another couple hundred, couple thousand years. I mean, this is going to be a really pivotal time in our evolution, Uranus and Taurus. So I invite you just to start to meditate on that. You don't have to have an answer. We've got 8 years to explore it. It will reveal itself to us. But I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't tell you that this is a really big shift that's going on. And since I endeavor to deliver you the medicine and not the drama, I'm just telling you the truth. Uranus shakes things up. So be aware that things are going to get shaken up in your physical reality, in your structures, and you're also going to be asking yourself, like, do I really value this? And so the cards that I pulled this week really beautifully go along with that message, because what I pulled was the Four of Swords in the reversed position, and then the Chariot in the upright position. So the Four of Swords is a mental opportunity to look back on a traumatic experience, or to look back on a failure, or a time when something went wrong, and to mine the gifts from that experience. With the Four of Swords, we're going back to pull the gifts out of the past so that we can bring them into the future. It's also the energy of like, okay, it's alright if you're making new mistakes, but don't make the same mistakes. So we're all being invited this week to look back at maybe, you know, a time in our life that didn't feel so good, and maybe we didn't want to, you know, spend any more mental time thinking about that, but now that we're safe, now that we're out of that traumatic experience, we can really mine the gifts, and that's going to be important because the way this card prepares us for really taking the invitation of the Chariot, and the Chariot is all about success and ambition. What are we building? What are we wanting to move forwards? And this feels very Uranus and Taurus to me. It's like, okay, what are the mistakes we made? How did we surrender our value? How did we go with the flow? How did we not honor ourselves? And then how can we make a promise not to do that as we start to move forwards? I think if we really think about what the Chariot is at its highest octave, is it's achieving those things that your soul needs you to achieve. It's not just about the ego, it's about completion. So before we start to get really ambitious, we want to make sure the place from which our ambitions are coming is not a place of wounding or trauma, but a place of healing. So I really invite you to take some time this week and to meditate on whatever, you know, I think about it like you were in the dark woods and now you're out of the woods. So it's safe, and you can think, okay, what happened when I was in the woods of that experience? Be it a toxic relationship, you know, romantic relationship or work relationship, or maybe, you know, a period of your life where you kind of gave up on yourself. Look at what that was all about. Get the gifts from it. Get the insight. There is clarity available to you now looking back that was not available to you when you were in it. And that is the medicine you need to help you with this chariot, to help you, you know, kind of rock your ambition, to grow it up. So I hope that's helpful for you, and I hope you're continuing to swim through Pisces season. And the thing that we can remember about mutable water is it doesn't hold on to anything, so try not to get too grippy or clingy and just let yourself flow. As always, it's a privilege and an honor to deliver these messages, and I look forward to seeing you next week.